Hi guys, Robert here, editor of the University Grapevine. Thanks so much for being a part of everything that we're doing, and don't forget you can send in your own great ideas too. Thanks and have a great day.
Today we'll be exploring an activity which aims to build students' digital literacy skills around the use of generative AI in language learning and empower them to make informed decisions about whether to use these tools and how in their self-directed language learning outside of the classroom. Some of the biggest concerns in higher education around student use of generative AI have been whether it will hinder their language learning, replace their skills, or limit their creativity and critical thinking. So this activity takes all of those things into consideration. Rather than teaching in a top-down way about what the tools are, how they work, and how to use them, it puts students in the driving seat as evaluators of the tool, collaborating and communicating with their peers about what they think about the tools, comparing different tools directly, and testing out different language learning ideas and prompts in these different tools. Let's have a look at the materials to get a bit more of a clear idea about how this activity works. The handout for the activity has 3 different sections to support you in doing the activity with your learners. The first section is a background on large language model chatbots with some of the basic information that students will need to work with them. And it has a list of possible tools that you can use in the activity. Of course, you can shorten the list, adjust it and edit it based on your needs and what you want students to try out. The second section is the instructions for the activity. And the third section is a prompt library, which contains suggested prompts on supporting language learning in different sections like grammar, vocabulary, communication, role-playing, and writing. The red parts, students can input their own ideas based on what they've learned or what their learning needs are. So for example, if students have just learned some vocabulary, they could choose to make a quiz and put a list of words that they've been studying into that red gap there. Once students have decided which prompt they're going to try out, they'll go on to the main activity. And this activity is collaborative, so it can be done in pairs and groups to make sure as well that it's communicative, they're working together. There are 3 reflections that students will need to make notes on as they're going through the activity. The first is about the prompt itself. So did that vocabulary quiz actually work? When we've tried it out, it tends to just give you the whole multiple choice quiz at a time and then an answer key, which is more meant for teachers rather than students. So maybe students can be creative and adjust the prompt so that it asks them one question at a time and then they answer and then it will give them feedback. So students can test things out, try it out, and get the kind of outcome or support that they want. And that's kind of an experimental stage. So they're just testing it out and seeing what happens. In the second stage, they'll be noticing the difference between another chatbot. So if they try it out first with ChatGPT and then with another, they can see what the differences are, or if it's the same, which one they preferred and why, which one felt more difficult. So they can think about that and discuss that together, because each of those different generative AI tools has different underlying programming, different training data, so their responses might be different. And finally, students can think about whether this activity would actually help them to do language learning at home. So did the vocabulary quiz actually help them? Was it too difficult? Was it too easy? And things like that they can think about. And that will help them to make decisions on ways that they can use generative AI to practice things based on their needs.